Tony, to make that kind of play, your senior year against a rival, to make a catch that ties the game and sends it overtime. You just take us through that play and, what it felt like that you guys had kind of tied the game right there at the whistles.
Well, the play before that or the series before that, obviously I dropped the catch in the end zone. My teammates are telling me to pick myself up. Montez was going to come back right to me. I picked my head up. I had confidence in myself. And when the play was called, I knew it was coming to me, So I had to make a play for my teammates, So that's what I had to do. I had expectations for myself to make that play. So that's what I did.
So for KD, can you talk about what you saw on that flea flicker touchdown? It looked like you got exactly the look you needed to from Nebraska. Like when you saw that guy blitz, did you have any kind of communication with Steven?
Honestly, I want to give a credit to the coaches. Coach Johnson, he called the play. I just did my job.
This can be for anyone, but KD, I'll direct it at you. Watching all the fans in red leave the stadium disappointed, how'd that make you feel?
I don't know how to answer that because we can't talk bad about other opponents, but I just want to focus on my team. I'm glad we got the W.
K.D., you mentioned just doing your job, but how good did that feel to do your job that way? And obviously you guys needed that play in a big way at that moment. So can you just talk about, first off, personally how good that felt for you to have a big play, but then also really what it meant for the team at that time?
Honestly, we practice it like every day in practice. So it's really just a play that I just have to, execute. That's what Coach talk about 24/7, execution. Don't worry about no other team. Just do your job, man. Basically, making that play really just made me happy because I know the type of player I am. If I make a big play, I know the team going to get excited. And that's all we need is other players to make plays. And once we all make plays, we all feed off each other.
This one's for Nate. I thought the defense in the first half really kept you guys in the game. Could you talk a little bit about what you guys were saying to each other on the sideline? Because the offense exploded in the fourth, but prior to that, it had been the defense keeping the Buffs in the game.
Yeah, offense struggled a little bit, but in the second half they came out and played hard. I think as a defense we played a hard 4 quarters and overtime, every snap. And that's credit to our D-line and secondary. We didn't really give up too many things, and they beat us on explosive plays on the edge. And Martinez was able to extend drives with his feet, and those were our halftime adjustments. And once we were able to get those, they couldn't run in the middle or get on the edge. I think we had 3 or 4 3-and-outs, getting our ball back to our offense. And once they got rolling, they couldn't be stopped.
KD, I know you can't talk about other teams, but what does a win like this say about the Colorado Buffaloes this season, and how can this win propel you throughout the year?
Let me tell y'all the truth. We won back in summer workouts. We had the hardest summer workouts I ever had in my life. So credit to the strength staff, credit to Coach Tucker for telling them to do that, but also it's a big win. It's a big rivalry. We really don't understand the rivalry because we are from different states. But once we know, like, this game, we know that we had to step up and make the table.
What's the special sauce what we're looking for?
Honestly, just relentless strain. You heard Coach talk about it 24/7. It's not a joke. I don't think nobody outside this football team could have played with Colorado Buffaloes. I guarantee you anybody on another college football team would quit because that's just how hard it was. And we all stick together, and that just showed in fourth quarter. We didn't win today. We won back in summer workouts, back when Coach Tucker came in December 4th. That's what some people don't understand. That's why we happy, but at the same time, it's 24-hour rule. We know right back tomorrow we got to be here for treatment and get back to work. So we waiting on that moment.
Nate, what was the environment like out there? Loud fans, both sides. What was it like playing in that?
It kind of reminded me a little bit of last year. There was a lot of red, but there was a lot of CU support too. And, I love how small our sidelines are. We have the support right there. People cheering us on. And whether it gets quiet or super loud, we feed off the energy. And I think by having that crowd and that support, it really pushed us to get that win for our CU fans because they show great support. And, the history of this game is awesome. And we had a lot of old players in our locker room, and, they were talking to us. And we wanted to get that win not only for us but for our fans and the history of this program.
Was it motivating to see all the red out there?
For me, yes. I try to block it. When I'm playing out there, I block it out. But seeing that missed field goal in the end and seeing our fans rush the field, it's a feeling that not many people are experienced having played in that game, and to bring that win home for Boulder was just amazing.
What does it do for you as a defensive player to see the halftime adjustments work now in back-to-back weeks, right? It's one thing to buy in the offseason, but now that it's happened twice, is it different?
That's what I expect out of our defense. We didn't know how it would work last week, given that we have a lot of young guys playing and a lot of rotation in our defense. But I think that's a credit to us believing in our coaches and really buying into what they're teaching us and executing their calls. Having those young guys, it takes a little bit, but they adapted well, and we didn't do as well as we wanted in the first half, but the second half we dominated, and those are due to those adjustments.
So real quick, anything else for KD? I need to pull him, so can we focus one or two questions for KD, and then he'll be done.
Hey, what exactly did Coach Tucker preach to you guys at halftime? Because you were totally different offensively in the second half.
I mean, honestly, Coach Tucker is one of the players' coach. That's something that we all love about him. So he really just came in and say, hey, y'all doing the right thing. Just keep being y'all. That's what we like as a coach. You don't want to come to the halftime and just be told y'all messing up or y'all doing the wrong thing or y'all not connecting. He came in positive, talked to everybody, crunk everybody up, and soon we went out there, we just knew. I told Nate, I got you, you got me. And second half, it was history.
Anything else for KD? All right. Come with me, please.
Tony, obviously it requires some patience when you transfer. You sit out and you wait. But when you left Lubbock, is this kind of the role that you imagined? In the games you kind of imagined playing in and being a big part of when you made that decision.
Definitely. Sitting out a year was pretty tough, for me. But I used that year to work on my craft, to get better, and I have a lot of expectations for me this year. Stepping up my game, stepping up and playing any role that coach wants me to play in.
Tony, with Steven, first half obviously the offense didn't do a whole lot, but he came back and had a really good second half and kind of led this team. Can you just talk about what you see out of him? Because we see that a lot out of him, where he's really good at brushing aside a bad play, a bad half, whatever, and coming back and playing good football.
Obviously we didn't have a good of a start, but we made our adjustments. Me and him sat down, we talked in the locker room. Get each other hyped up. Since we have that chemistry, not with just me, but with all the receivers, the running backs, the whole offense. We knew what we got to do, so we just had to talk to him and get our minds right. And we came out second half, and we got it done.
Tony, first half couldn't. All the throws were underneath. Couldn't get anything down the field. There was a lot of pressure on the quarterback. Everybody's talking about the adjustments at halftime. What were the offensive adjustments that changed everything?
I would just say, just knowing what we got to do. We see a type of defense that they run. We got plays set up. We made those adjustments in the locker room. We saw what they were doing in the first half. We made those adjustments, and like I said, we just got it done.
Nate, last year I remember in the locker room in Nebraska, you telling me about you knew what it meant because you had alums coming up to you as you were walking off the field. So you know what this game means. And last year you guys took that, propelled yourselves to a 5-0 start. We know what happened after that. But how important is it for you guys at this point now? You had to take this momentum and use this as you go forward to the next several weeks and 10 weeks, whatever.
Yeah, definitely. Our coach told us all week we're going to take our biggest strides from week 1 to week 2, and I believe we did that, using this game as kind of a base now, and improving on this week and using the third game as a base now. I think we just want to focus on one game at a time, but having this win in the back of our mind and knowing that we're a team that can come back from adversity and play all 4 quarters of the game, and if we have to, overtime, and get the job done. Thank you.